So for today's little fun experiment, I wanted to go through my products on the fly with you and decide whether I would repurchase them or not. So I'm going to split these videos up into different categories so it's not too long. I've got some baskets pulled here on the side so that we can visually see together how many I would repurchase or not. And this is kind of just for fun. It might help me see things to declutter or things that I might want to add into project pans. And I will have some products, especially in this drawer, that are going to be maybes, and I'll just put the maybes with the yeses, and then, you know, we'll kind of see from there. So we will start with primer. Here is supposed to be my more glowy or hydrating primers. Almost done with my Tarte base tape. I would repurchase this, either this one or the Smashbox Primerizer. I find them to be super similar, but one of the best hydrating primers ever. So I would repurchase that. Then I have this little sample of the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin, the universal one. I need to use it more, but I really can't get into this. So for right now, that's a no. Then I have 4 glowy primers. Neither of these brands are available anymore. And as I'm going through my collection, I do have a lot of things that were limited edition or discontinued. And if I want to repurchase them, will still say, yes, I would repurchase as if they were still available. So out of these products, I would repurchase the Becca Backlight Priming Filter. This has a really pretty champagne glow and it doesn't make me too oily, so I would repurchase that one. The Vesca one is good, but I like the Becca a little more. This is the lightest shade of the e.l.f. Halo Glow and it's a little dark for me. And then lastly, we have the Maybelline 4-in-1 Perfector. I remember liking it when I used it, but I haven't used it in a while, so I'm going to say maybe on this one. Then grabbing some more mattifying and smoothing primers. Murad Oil and Pore Control Mattifier. I do like this one. Now grabbing some of my primers from my back section, so ones that are a little bit more smoothing or mattifying. And this is going to be a little bit tough for me to decide. So the Murad one, I'm going to say is a maybe. The Dr. Brandt Pore Primer, this is definitely my favorite pore filling primer, but I don't actually feel like my pores are a huge problem for me, so it's actually not something that I would repurchase once I use it up, which will take me a really long time. And then I have the Calireso Blown Blurring Primer. I think this one is fine. I need to use it more. I feel like I had some like weird skin irritation when I used it previously, so this is a maybe. And then I have these 3, Hourglass Vanish, Too Faced Primed and Peachy, and the Herborian Extra Matte. The Too Faced one's not available anymore. I really do like all of these. I don't have any mattifying primer where I'm like, yes, that's the one. So I feel like I definitely want to have a mattifying primer or 2 in my collection, but I just don't know which one. So I'm gonna say no to the Herborian. I think I need to pick between the Too Faced and the Murad. And I would pick the Too Faced one. So my yes basket is on the left, my no is on the right. It's so odd because I have 6 keeps and 6 that I would not repurchase. I didn't plan it that way. And again, with a lot of the mattifying primers especially, it's really up in the air. But I like the idea of only having 6 primers. And I do think I have a nice variety that I'd be choosing to keep. All right, so for foundations, I have this center compartment, these, and there are 15 foundations here. So let me start with some easy ones. Yes, I would repurchase this L'Oreal True Match Nude. Yes to the original Estee Lauder Double Wear, even though I haven't used that in a little bit. No to the Lawless Conceal the Deal. I actually really like these skin tints from Cali Ray and Rare Beauty, but I feel like since I'm not a huge skin tint person overall, I'd be fine just having the L'Oreal. But I actually do quite like the Fenty Beauty Eavesdrop skin tint. It's not quite as glowy as those others. The Kosas Revealer Foundation, I'm painting this one right now. I feel like this is a maybe. I wish it covered up my redness a little bit more, but it wears surprisingly well. So maybe for now. This Pure Cosmetics one's pretty good. Maybe the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. I didn't quite get the hype of this one. This feels like a skin tint to me, so that's a no. The NARS Soft Matte Foundation, yes. And yes to the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin. Then for these, I'm going to say no to the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Foundation Matte. I do like this Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless, but I think I'll say no to this one. It's super full coverage, as is the NARS Soft Matte, and I think I'd pick the NARS over this one. I do really like both of these. I haven't used the Too Faced in a while. I feel like I'm trying to remember if this one gave me troubles once in a while. The Profusion I do think is really good, so I'm going to keep this one, and then I would not repurchase the Too Faced. And then for now, I'm going to put both of these maybes in the keep pile. So here we have my yes basket on the left, no basket on the right, and we're about split this time too, which I promised you was not on purpose. So I have 8 that are yes and 7 that are no. And again, I don't hate any of these. I just have some that I like a little bit more. And there's some that I like enough that I will definitely use them up, but wouldn't repurchase. So I moved the concealers up here so you could see them a little better. I have 9 concealers and color correctors, and this one is going to be pretty easy for me. I'm going to say I would not repurchase all of the color correctors. It's not something I think I need, so that would be this Sigma Duo, Milani Conceal and Perfect in Melon, and then this Dominique Cosmetics concealer. Because of the color being a little dark, it's something I am using more as a corrector product. Then for actual concealers, would not repurchase the Tarte Shape Tape Ultra Creamy. I like the original much better. I definitely would repurchase Estee Lauder Dub Wear, my favorite for blemishes. Original Tarte Shape Tape's my favorite for under eye. I would also repurchase this KVD. I think that is really nice. And then I really like both of these as well. I think if I had to pick, maybe I'd purchase a Kosas over the NYX, just because I don't love the applicator on the NYX as much, but this is still amazing and actually comes with a lot of product. So we have half again. 4 that I would repurchase, 5 that I would not, but I probably could have gone either way with the NYX. So I usually keep my setting sprays on top of my desk, but I moved them down here into my drawer to make this a little bit easier to see. So right now I have 9 setting sprays. I really do enjoy a lot of these, but as far as repurchasing, I know that I don't actually need this many in my collection. So we're gonna have more than half that I'm gonna say no on, but the formulas are good. So NYX Dewy Finish, Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless, no. I like them, but no. MAC Fix Plus is a definite yes. Urban Decay All Nighter Original is also a yes. And then honestly, no to the rest of these. This is All Nighter Ultra Matte. I haven't tried this one yet. Benefit Professional Super Setter I didn't love, or the mister's not my favorite. Using D-Slick right now, it's fine. Too Faced Peach Mist leaves those white dots. And Morphe Continuous Mist, the mattifying one, don't need it. So I would not repurchase 7, and I would repurchase 2. Okay, so then we have liquid and cream bronzers. I have 10 cream bronzers, 4 liquids, and then I do have 1 liquid highlight. And let's just start with this. I would not repurchase the liquid highlight. Then for these liquid bronzers, I think the only one that I might repurchase is this Iconic London Sheer Bronze and Caramel Glow. This just blends so nicely over top of foundation and doesn't make it patch off. I haven't used the Drunk Elephant drops yet. I like this one as a mixer, but on top of foundation it can patch off. And then this shade of the e.l.f. Halo Glow is just too dark for me. So 1 yes, 3 no's. Then for the cream ones, this is a little bit more challenging because I really do like a lot of these. I'm going to say no to the NARS because of the color. I like the Kaja one, but I think I have a few more that I like better. Yes to Make It by Mario. I haven't tried the Tower 28 yet, so I'm going to say yes for now. Tarte is a maybe. Yes, M Cosmetics. yes, Merit. No, Rare Beauty because of the shades. And yes to Persona. I knew I was missing some. In my makeup basket, I have the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer. That is going to be a no. And then this Patrick Ta Cream and Powder Bronzer Duo. I'm going to say yes to this one. So I told you I had 10 total. I actually have 12. And I'm going to keep 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I would not repurchase the 5 of those. But if we're looking at liquid and cream bronzers together, I actually would repurchase 8 and would not repurchase 8. Okay, then for face powders here, I have 13. Definitely repurchase Rimmel Stay Matte, my favorite for touch up. Definitely repurchase my Dermablend loose powder. For a tinted one, I think I would repurchase my Maybelline Fit Me Loose in Fair. And then I think I'm going to say no to everything else. So the e.l.f. powder foundation I think is just too powdery. The Kosas powder I do think is nice, but isn't exactly perfect for my skin type. Too Faced powder foundation is nice, but I don't use powder foundations. ColourPop Pretty Fresh, a very nice pressed setting powder, not a powder foundation, people. But I don't really use tinted ones that are pressed. This Jaclyn loose powder I think is very beautiful, but I don't use it enough. Laura Mercier is good, but tends to darken my concealer. Hourglass is just okay. Sigma one, not my favorite, doesn't keep me quite matte enough. And then I do really like the Too Faced Born This Way and the Peach Perfect powders, but I have to mix them. They're not perfect. So out of all of my powders, I would repurchase 3 and not repurchase 10. So out of all the base products that I had, these are all the ones that I would repurchase. They all fit in one drawer, which I think is amazing. And let's take a closer look. I have my 6 primers, my more mattifying ones, and then hydrating and glowy. 2 setting sprays, which I would not keep here, but again, they're here to show you all the things in one drawer. So I put some of my shorter foundations here, and then I've got these other 5 just kind of stacked on top of each other. 4 concealers and my 3 powders. And then I also want to show you what the drawer would look like if I kept in this container that has my cream and liquid bronzers, which is how I keep it right now. So here is my yes, I would repurchase base drawer plus cream and liquid bronzer products. So now we're going to go through all of my cheek products. So cream and liquids for bronzer, blush, highlight, as well as my face palettes. This is going to be very challenging, I feel. For powder bronzer, I have 18, which is a lot. First, Benefit Hoola is one of the first bronzers I ever tried, and I still really love it. So that's a yes. Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, and this is in the regular bronzer shade. I actually do still really like this one, even though I have used one up completely. So yes, I'd repurchase that. Too Faced Sweetheart Sweet Tea. I actually really like this one as well for a pretty glowy option. So for right now, I am going to say yes to that. But Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil, I'm going to say no. I panned one before and it's nice and all, but I'm a little over it. I have other things I'm more excited about. Becca Capri Coast. I like this one, but I don't know that I need it. I'm going to leave some maybes here. I feel like I have a couple bronzers and I'm not quite sure what to do with. This is another one of them. The Fenty Beauty Bronzer. I have the second lightest shade, Shady Biz. So that's going to be kind of a maybe here. Huda Glowish is a yes. While I used to really love both of these bronzers, and I think that they were in my yearly favorites of 2021, I don't think I'd repurchase either of them. This is Nabla's Ombra. The formula is just not the easiest to work with. And then I've got Vesca Kissed by Santorini, and I think that this one is just a little dark for me. It's something that I can make it work, but I just have to be pretty careful. And I have 2 shades of Sigma bronzer. I definitely want to keep one of these. So this is medium and this is light. I think I'll keep medium. Then I have these bronzers here that are more summertime because they're pretty deep. This is Anastasia Saddle. And this is Cover FX Sun Kissed Bronze. I'm going to say no to both of these just because they're a little dark. M Cosmetics Slip, yes. Jaclyn Cosmetics Vitamin D, also a yes. Marc Jacobs Tantastic, I like this one, but it's not incredible, so no. Then I have these L'Oreal Infallible bronzers. This one's light, light medium. I'm going to keep the darker one, light medium. And then I think that I'll put the Fenty and the Becca in the no pile. That was very tough. I said no to these 10, and it's really hard to say no to these 2. So no to these 10, and yes to the 8 of these. I feel okay about my decision, but thank God this is all hypothetical. For highlighters, I have 24. So these are on my singles, a loose highlight, and then here are some Ofra ones that I depotted. And I actually don't think this one will be that challenging. No to the loose highlight from Jaclyn. I'm gonna say no to this Rare Beauty in Enlighten. I like the formula and the color is pretty, but it's a little icy for me. My Becca highlights, I have Moonstone, no to that one. Champagne Pop, ooh, I need to think about it. I'll leave it there for right now. Fresca Moonlight, no. Urban Decay Sin, I did really love this one, but no. Definitely yes to Benefit Cookie and Tickle. I want to say yes to this M Cosmetics, but I think I'll actually, I'll put it in the maybes for right now. These Sigma highlighters, I thought that these were good, but for some reason I like the highlights in their duos better, so I'm going to say no. I'm going to say yes to Nabla's Ozone. So I actually really like both of the Jaclyn highlights. This one is Sparks. And this is Iced. I think I will say yes to Iced, no to Sparks. Anastasia Amrezy, yes for sure. Then from Ofra, I have this newer one, The Hills. Absolutely, I love it. This is Ofra Milk and Cookies, love. Laura Mercier, matte highlight, no. I think I'll say no to the both of these. Then for these Ofra ones from this palette here, I think I'll say yes to Pillow Talk, no to the rest. And then this is Star Island and Mood Dance. I'll say no to these because I have The Hills. So I'm gonna put this little Ofra highlight over here, but I have another little empty compact that I'll put over here to represent it. So wow, these are all the highlights that I would repurchase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's all. That's really good. I feel happy with the variety of colors and I love all these formulas. And I said no to 16. So I'm only saying yes to a third of my highlight collection. Yikes. So my next drawer down is where I have all of my blushes, liquid creams, powder singles, and then I have my face palettes in the back. I'm going to start with face palettes because I'm feeling too overwhelmed by the blushes that I have. So if I counted correctly, I have 21 face palettes. I'm not including this MAC palette right there. I'm going to count that with my individual blushes, and I really love my face palette, so this might be challenging. I'm going to pick the easier ones first. This Artist Couture palette is a yes. This Jaclyn Cosmetics Holiday palette is also a yes. Jouer Champagne and Macaroons, or Macarons and Sweet Dreams, also a yes. I have all 5 of my Sigma duos. Naturally, I want to say yes to all of them, but I'll try to be a little bit picky. So this is the one from last year's holiday collection, Glisten and Glow. It looks like it'd be too dark, but it works perfectly. I absolutely love this one, so that's Yes, then this is from the year before, but it's still available. Berry Glow. You can also get these two products individually. Definitely yes. The Cinderella Duo, I'm going to say no. And the Alice in Wonderland Duo, I'm going to say no. I mean, I really love them, but I'm trying to be picky here. And then this one, I want to say yes because I absolutely love that highlighter. And Corte Rosa is a great blush, but I have it in the larger face palette, so I don't need this one, but I really love that highlighter. I have this MAC Hyper-Real Glow palette with some highlights. Very pretty, but I'm gonna say no. Some Pat McGrath palettes. This is from 2 holidays ago. Yes to this one. I really like the variety of colors and the formulas. Then this is the Bridgerton one. I'm gonna say no to this one. A little panky for me. Natasha Denona Bloom. I'm gonna say no. Hourglass Unlocked. No. I want to say yes, but no. I did a good job not allowing myself to buy any this past year, although I wanted to. And then I have this Hourglass palette, which I think is beautiful as well. I'm going to say no, because I don't reach for them enough. This NARS Narcissist palette, no as well. The colors are beautiful, but don't reach for it. Next to this Lorac Luxe Diamond Highlight Palette. The formula of these are really good, but I definitely don't need all these shades. Then we have this Benefit Earth Angel 4 Scope. And this blush is exclusive to this palette, but not super special. I already chose to keep these. I don't care for Georgia blush, so that's going to be a no as well. Then last 4, this is the Sigma Glow Kissed Highlight Palette. This formula is incredible. I don't need all these shades, so I'm going to begrudgingly say no to that one. Corte Rosa Blush Palette from Sigma is absolutely phenomenal, amazing, stunning. Beyond gorgeous, keeping this for sure. Then these Lunar Beauty palettes, Moon Prism, maybe, but then Nude Prism, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna go ahead and say no to both of them, even though I do like the first Lunar Beauty palette. So counting it up, I had 21 face palettes. I have said yes, I'd repurchase 7 and no to 14, which is crazy. So the Jacqueline Holiday Face Palette, Artist Couture Love Sprung, Sigma Berry Glow, the holiday one from last year, Pat McGrath Holiday, Jouer, and the Sigma Corte Rosa. Here's what my completed second drawer would look like. So I have all of my face palettes here, bronzers and highlights. I could definitely put the bronzers and highlights together, but I know that I'm gonna have more blushes than could fit in just one of these, but we'll see. Let's actually just take a look to see if they would fit. They do. Okay, I'm gonna leave it like this, and I'm gonna play around and see if I can make the blushes fit. Let's see if all of those. Okay, not quite. These can't quite all fit. If I stack them a little bit, or if I had them like that, they could fit. If I feel like I need more room for blush, or maybe I want to play around with putting some liquid blushes over here. So I'm going to then leave these sections like this to play around with, seeing what I can do with my blush. Now we have my toughest face category, which would be blush. There are just so many here that I love. So just moving some of the other stuff back so we can focus here on my creams and my liquids. So for liquid and cream blushes, I have 28, 10 liquid, 18 creams. And for the liquids, there's only one that I would actually repurchase, and that is the Laura Geller Serum Blush in Poppy Peach. I really loved this one last year. And this one, because of the applicator, is pretty easy to use. The other ones are just a little bit more finicky for me, even though I think they're beautiful shades. I just don't reach for them enough. Then for creams, definite keep would be all 4 of my Bare Minerals Bounce and Blurs. We have the Mauve Sunrise, Pink Sky, Blurred Buff and Coral Cloud, my favorite formula. Then I would keep Cosmetics Lychee. For now, I'm going to say that I would keep this one from Persona. I just have to work with it a little bit. It doesn't blend the easiest over powder. Cosmetics just released a shade that is similar to this one, and I think I would prefer it in the Cosmetics formula, but I'm going to say that I would keep the both of those. So out of 28 cream and liquid blushes, I would repurchase 8 and not 20. Ooh. I need to make sure I don't go crazy buying many of these this year. So now we have my powder blushes. If I counted correctly, there are 61. So let me start with Easy Keeps. The 3 Bare Minerals bronzers. Definitely want to keep this MAC Mineralized Blush in Gentle. Really like MAC Peach Twist. I was going to say that I would repurchase all my Becca blushes, but I think maybe not Songbird because I have some other ones that are similar that I might like a bit more. So I guess I'll say no to that one, but probably yes to the others. Snapdragon, definitely Flower Child. And then this little mini I have is Camellia. Yes. Yes to those. Definitely yes to these Buxom and Persona blushes. So I have Mykonos and Dolly from Buxom, and then from Persona I have all 4 of these: Terracotta, Caramel, Georgia, Bubble. For these Ciate blushes, I really like this color, First Date, so yes to this one. I really do like the new Benefit blushes, but the ones that I would definitely say yes to would be these 3. So this is Moon, really intense, but it's beautiful. Pom Pom and Terra. Also definitely yes to these 2 Sigma blushes. This first one is Sunset Kiss. It's a matte. And then Tiger Lily. Also definitely yes to these 2 mini NARS blushes. This one is Orgasm X. And then this is Goulet. Love those colors. Then from Pat McGrath, yes to Nude Venus. I do like the Cosmetics blushes. I'm trying to think if there's any I have to have. I'm wanting to say yes to Venetian Rose. So I'm going to say no to these ones from Nabla. Oh, yes to MAC Warm Soul. This is the original formula from a million years ago. Yes to that one. Let's see. I do have a special place in my heart for these limited edition MAC blushes, but I haven't used them in a while. And then for this MAC palette, we have Melba, Cantaloupe, and Gingerly. I know they all look the same. I would keep the 3 of these and probably not repurchase those 2. Okay, so for the nose, 31 blushes and then 32, 33 if I counted correctly. So for the blushes I would repurchase, we have 25 here, and then that top row, 26, 27, 28. Dang, I pared that down really well. So here is my condensed cheek drawer. I cannot believe everything fits in one drawer. That's amazing. So I do still have my MAC palette, which I would just put in the back here because there's not enough room for it over here. And you can see the blush section's full. I have a couple here on the side, so it doesn't fit beautifully, but everything does fit. So I've got my cream and liquid blushes here, then my face palette, and then all of my single powder blushes, then bronzers, highlighters. You guys, this looks really good. That's so exciting to see, and looking at all these products makes me happy. I really love them all. This is crazy. It really is making me think, but this makes me happy to look at. This is a really fun experiment.